diploma. They either make you come up with the equation, and then that's it, or they give you the equation and make you solve it. They never make you come up with the equation and solve it altogether. Okay? There's no two-step process. So you either have to come up with the equation, or I give you the equation, and you have to solve it. All right? We are going to do both, because we're going to prepare ourselves by over-preparing ourselves. But I could give you the equation and ask for answers, or I could ask you to get the equation and stop. Okay? So let's go through. We're going to practice these. So here it says, competing in an endurance race, Shannon cycled for 120 kilometers. So we're going to underline that. I'm going to get the highlight. Shannon cycled for 120 kilometers and then swam for 12. So those are distances, right? How do we know those are distances? Because there were kilometers behind them, right? Kilometers is a unit of distance. Also, you guys remember your units and your rounding. Okay, her average cycling speed, so her average cycling speed was 8 times faster than her average swimming speed. So which are we comparing? Cycling to swimming. So swimming would be X, cycling would be 8 times faster than it. 8x. Listening closely. Listen closely, because I lose people. 8 times faster gives you a hint to multiplication, because it says times, right? Times is multiplication. 8 times faster would be 8x. Everyone listening? What if I say 8 kilometers faster? X plus 8. X plus 8. Because 8 kilometers faster, I would take the x kilometers, however long it took to swim that, and I would add 8 more kilometers to it, right? Like if it took x plus 8. 8 kilometers faster would be 8x plus 8. So if it has a unit in it, like kilometers, you add. But if it says 8 times faster, we will multiply, and that's a hint by times, the word times. Okay? Very different. Very different. So the cycling speed is 8 times faster than the average swimming speed. So we're discussing this. Then it says Shannon took 9 hours to complete the race. So that is what? 9 hours is what? Starts with a T. Is the total, yes? Total what? Total time. We agree? So I gave you total time. Yes? Okay. Then they want us to calculate her average cycling speed. We will talk about this at the very end. So we read this, but this is where we go to at the end. Okay? We're going to do all the solving first, and then we come back to our question. So we know in here we had distance and we had time. We discussed that, yes? So your chart you can make will always have distance. What else did they talk about? Cycling what? Speed. And then you talked about time. Distance, speed, and time. We agree? The distance was in what units? Kilometers. The time was in, or the speed was in what? Kilometers per hour. And the time was in hours. Yes? And then what do we compare? Sorry, cycling and swimming. Now here's the catch. Everyone's drop your pencils because you're listening to me. This is everyone can fill in 3/4 of the chart and then they get stuck. Paying attention? Listening? Eyes on me? You will always be able to fill in 4 of the 6 boxes from the information they give you. Always. 2 of the boxes you have to fill in using the distance formula. That distance equals speed times time formula, or time equals, you know what I mean? So there's that formula, distance equals speed times time, or you can use the triangle, which is alphabetical, DST, correct? Do we agree? And you use the formula this way. If it was speed, it would be distance over time. If it was time, it would be distance over speed. If it was distance, it would be speed times time. Correct? EST? Okay. There will always be 2 boxes that you have to fill in using that formula, and you will get stuck if you don't remember that. You'd be like, I can fill in 4 of 6 every single time. And you're like, Mrs. Lepp, that doesn't happen all the time. I know it does. I see common errors all the time, guys. It's not my first rodeo. It's 20th year of teaching. I know you will make a mistake there. You either fill in the 2 boxes and carry on, or everyone's stuck here. Those are the 2 places. Okay? All right. So what did they give us? Shannon cycled for 120 kilometers. What's that? Distance. That goes here. So now we have 1 of 6 boxes filled. She swam for 12 kilometers. Now we have 2 of 6 boxes filled. Her cycling speed was 8 times faster than her swimming speed. So we compared cycling speed to swimming. So swimming is X. Cycling is 8X. Weird, I filled in 4 of 6 from the information. We'll keep going. Shannon took 9 hours to complete the race. So is that cycling or swimming? It's a trick question. Both. It's the total. So it actually goes down here. And then I get a people stop. A whole lot of people stop. Or putting some random crap, like 9 minus x, x minus 9, adding another variable. They don't know what to do. What I tell you, those last 2 boxes have to always be filled in using the what? That distance formula. And what are we looking for? Time. This isn't a rationals unit, is it not? So we're going to get an equation that looks like a rational equation, doesn't it? Remember, rational equations look like this. Like 6 over x minus 4 plus 8 over 9x equals 7. And our x's are always on the bottom. Yes? And it's rationals. And we have NPVs. And remember? That's what a rational solving question looks like. So a formula we get out of this should look something like that. We agree? So, time. I'm looking for time. Bye-bye time. What does it equal? Distance over speed. Okay. So the distance over the speed of the first column would be 120 over 8x. Crazy, there's an x on the bottom. There should be. It's a rational. We're in the rational unit. Yes? How do we get the other box? Distance divided by speed, 12 over x. Does this make sense? 2 boxes will always be filled in from the formula. Always, always, always. If you're like, man, I don't know. Always. And if you're stuck, put the x on the bottom. Just guess. Like, throw something on top and put an x on the bottom. It's a rational. It's in the rational unit. Right? X's are on the bottom. Okay. Now I need to set up an equation from this. What could I set up? Total time. What does total mean?
Oh, add.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we go 120 over 8x plus 12 over x. So if I take the cycling time and I add to it the swimming time, I get 9. We agree? And then we'd be done if they started off with this question being like this. They would have to ask for an equation, correct? Because they didn't give us an equation. Yes? Or this could be the question, and it's filled out like this, and they have it set up for me like this, right? And now they actually ask me to calculate your average cycling speed. So they could give you the equation, make you go. So let's keep going. What do we need when we add or solve, common denominators, correct? So this one is over 8x. This one I'm going to have to multiply by 8 to get 8x. And what about this one? To multiply by 8x. And I distribute my numerators. Remember, common denominators is your first step for solving and adding and subtracting. So we get 120 over 8x plus 12 times 8, 96 over 8x equals 72x over 8x. Now that we have common denominators on this side, we can write it all over 8x. So we go 120 plus 96, which is 216, I believe. Now we know x can't equal 0 because of the denominator. Now we have 8x and 8x in the denominator, so what can we say? 216 must equal 72x, correct? Because if the denominator equals the denominator, then the numerator should equal. So I should get 216 equals 72x divided by 72. And what does x equal? 3? Is that the answer? We don't know. We just know x equals 3. We can go back to our chart and fill in all the x spots and get a whole bunch of answers, right? So if x equals 3, let's go back here. This is 120, this is 12. What's this going to be if x equals 3? What's 8 times 3, guys? 24 kilometers per hour is the speed of the cycling, correct? Okay, what would we go here? 3 kilometers per hour is the swimming speed. Then I can plug it into here. What's 120 divided by 8 times 3? 45. 4.5? 120 divided by 24? You have to go 120 divided by 24. If you go 120 divided by 8 times 3, you get a really big answer. 5? 5. Because remember, this should total to 9, so this answer can't be bigger than 9. And then this is 12 divided by 3, which is 4. What's 5 plus 4? 9. This looks productive. Now I could ask you any question. I could ask you her cycling time. You'd say 5 hours. I could ask you her swimming time. You'd say 4 hours. I could ask you her cycling speed, which is 24 kilometers per hour, or her swimming speed, which is 3 kilometers per hour. All those answers are now good, right? And what did I ask you for? For average cycling speed. So I go 24 kilometers per hour and I box it and I move on. And I don't say anything, and Mrs. Lepp will cry inside. She says, I know she needs to cry because she can't watch you in your diploma. Why would I cry right now? I didn't put a sentence. I didn't tell anything. I just boxed. I have a whole bunch of things boxed. I have x can equal 0, I have a 3, and I have 24 kilometers per hour boxed. What do I need to do? Write a sentence. What is her name? Shannon. Shannon's, let's give her her name, average cycling speed was 24 kilometers per hour. Now guys, tonight we're going to get a different review booklet tomorrow. Remember when you got the Silly Big Diploma review? Huge booklet. If you haven't gotten it, I have a whole bunch of copies, so that means there's a few of you who do not have it. You should grab one. You should be working on this tonight. Your diploma is on Monday. It's on Monday. You're going to get another review tomorrow, and we're going to go through other things. We're going to go through, do not lose this. We're going through this one tomorrow. Okay?